of the podcast process is coffee.
Yeah, it's real.
I think we're ready to go.
Because there's a moment, Ben, and you got to pick those up today. But there's a moment where you afterwards, you just, when I asked the question, you just went, That was the worst. It was like here. He's great. No.
Let's see. Let's put that one on that guy, and then what's in your other hand? That one will go on this guy over here whenever we get that one. Yep, that happened.
Oh. Mark.
Okay, I'll go back. Thank you, sir.
Facility, all that records, just quick snapshots.
Yeah, just like 3 to 6 second shots.
In here? No. Welcome to the Theology Lockdown Podcast launch party. We are excited you're here.
Matter of fact, we are elated that you decided to join us this evening so that we can share with you our podcast in which we get to celebrate and discuss the depths of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so we're here. Y'all pulled up. Free talk, free theology, free t-shirts, free tumblers. Hey.
We might even have some free stickers, but let's get it started.
Yes.
Oh man. Can you guys hear?
Check.
Checking the microphone. Okay, good.
Check.
I could have promised that I saw Robbie dancing during that moment, but we watched it again and it was not true. He did not dance. So I was way off. I was like, you didn't dance. That's a bummer. Hey everybody, welcome. We're so glad you all are here. Want to also welcome folks watching via YouTube. We've got a lot of friends and family out of state who are wanting to watch, and so we were able to get that streamed. And we got another little surprise coming up with that too. But there's a few folks in the crowd I wanted to point out and just thank you for being here so very much. I want to thank, let's see, I'm going to look at my notes here because I had to mark everybody. I saw Warden Tuggle. Thank you so much, Warden Tuggle. Where are we at? There we are. Warden Tuggle, thank you so much for making the trip out here. Sitting right behind him, Chief of Security, Ernesto Martinez, as well. By the way, this is John Lilly. I should be clear. This is at John Lilly Correctional. And so grateful for you. And then right here, Michael Whitmore, thank you so much for being here. He's on staff there. And Leo Brown over here, he is the agency chaplain for all of the Department of Corrections. So we're so glad and grateful for him to be here as well. So thank you guys for being here and making it out. And if I missed somebody, I'm so sorry. That's my apologies. If I could write faster, I would figure that out. So we would get there.
So, here's what you can all expect tonight. So you can expect to hear about an incredible podcast and the initiative that was taken and just our partnership with the Oklahoma Department of Corrections, which is we're honored, because God opened up this door. So you can expect to hear more about that. And also at the end, if you stay till the end, only if you stay to the end, right? There'll be free giveaways. So y'all got the raffle tickets and all that, but you only get something if you stay.
That's right. My brother said he would have to leave early, and I was like, that means you don't get anything free. So that's too bad. But anyway, we can figure that out later. Talk to me later. Guys, let's talk about one thing. What is Theology Lockdown Podcast? So we're so glad you're here. Maybe some of you have listened or seen the podcast online. Maybe you haven't. If you were not aware, episode 2 dropped this morning, so that is available now, which is really cool. So, hey guys, come on in, find a seat. There's plenty of spots way over there up in the corner.
Yes.
You're good.
Yes.
Come on in. But what we want to do is we want to introduce you to what the podcast is. So there's a Bible verse that's incredibly, it points straight to something that speaks to this whole thing. It comes from Psalm 119, verse 18. The verse itself says, "Open my eyes," or the idea is like, "Uncover my eyes, open my eyes that I may behold wondrous things from your law." That whole concept there is that we want to dig in really, really deep. And so the goal of the podcast ultimately is just to speak with inmates kind of one episode at a time and answer the same questions on the inside of the fence that we're asking on the outside of the fence. Big questions, seeking big answers. That's the whole idea. But one episode at a time, kind of one theological conversation at a time. In fact, each episode focuses on like one theological concept. So, for example, the one that came out today is about salvation, which is typically a kind of a pass-by type of thought. As Christians, you would say like, "Oh, it's salvation, it's sort of normal." But once you start digging into it, you go, "Oh my gracious, salvation goes way, way, way deeper than that." So that's a lot of it. We also do some deep dives, so some other questions such as sovereignty or suffering. How can God be a sovereign, good God if there's suffering? That takes a lot more than 45 minutes to get into, and so we might double that amount of time for those kinds of episodes. We call those deep dive episodes to get into some heavier stuff.
The mail call.
Oh yeah, mail call. So one other beautiful thing we get to do is we want to get questions from our viewers and our listeners back in. You know, they might be curious about things that life in prison is like, or even questions about the Bible that we want to try to answer. So we call those mail call episodes. That's based around the idea that whenever an inmate receives mail, it's a mail call. We get a chance to answer letters, so to speak, from that way. So
yeah, so laugh, cry. See how we're praying that God would take this to more than 1 million inmates just across the board, and that comes with the help of those that are interested in what God is doing through this podcast.
Yeah. There's been a lot of folks involved in this. The team that's involved, by the way, even just tonight, thanks so much to so many of the people that have kind of raised their hand and said, "I would like to be a part of this." What a big deal. We've had friends, family step in. Even being willing to take photos. Thank you. Oh.
Is that you?
Sorry, I got to get this.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi, this is Chaplain Benita with Tech.
That's not really? Is that Key Tech on the line with Chaplain Benita?
Yes.
Very cool.
Hey.
So glad you guys could call. That was really good timing.
Hey guys, can you turn up the live stream output?
Oh, for audio?
Yes, it's really, really low.
Okay. This is some technical flow right now. Thank you. Hey, I'm glad you called in to ask this question. So just so you're aware, we've got our other two co-hosts with us right now on the call. So this is both Mark and Jacob. Guys, can you hear us okay right now?
Yeah.
Very good.
Oh, we didn't even know we were on.
You are on.
Hey, wait, so are we live right now?
Yes.
You're live, yes.
Oh, okay, witness my moment.
What is wrong with you?
Yeah. This is real.
This is normal, guys. This
Yeah.
is absolutely how it goes. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Hey, Jacob, Mark, please say hello. You guys are available and ready. Everyone's listening.
Yeah, man. So, all joking aside, first and foremost, we're sure you went through all the thank yous and fun stuff here, but we just want to say, starting out, I want to say, man, thank you to Pastor Keith at First Southern for hosting the event tonight and just being like so gracious in just everything and believing in this project. I also want to thank the Oklahoma Department of Corrections, Director Ferris, Chief. I want to thank Chief Thompson and Chief Fleming, Warden Tuggle, Chief Martinez, Mr. Whitmore. Mr. Whitmore, if you're out there, you're awesome. And I know I'm forgetting people, but I want to thank Miss Deborah for just like, we're in prison right now and getting to experience this with you guys. This is truly changing lives. What changing lives is all about, and I'm just so thankful to get to experience this and be a part of it.
Tech.
You done accepting your Oscar?
Yeah. Oh, and I'd like to thank Honda Civics for just being the great car that you are.
Yes, that's a natural. That's a natural hello from Jacob.
Yeah.
Ketek, are you on?
Yeah, I'm here.
Would you? Do you have anybody you want to thank or welcome?
Yeah, everybody he just they appreciate it. Everybody in DLC that helped make this possible, man. This is awesome. But most importantly, I just want to thank God Almighty, the Creator, for blessing us to be able to do this, for giving you guys the vision to pull this off, and for touching the hearts of everybody involved to make this happen, so that we can glorify God and help make Jesus famous. Awesome. And and I want a T-shirt.
We'll work on that some way.
John Lilly is out there. I hope y'all heard that.
No, seriously though, guys, we're very blessed and humbled to be a part of this. And like Tech was saying, man, thank you. And biggest thanks, Ben and Robbie, thank you to you guys. Like, for just sacrificing your time, and just, having the vision for this podcast.
It's good. Man, I'm so glad to hear that. Okay, so we've got you on the phone. And what we wanted to do is have you guys, give you guys a chance to kind of share a bit about what got you involved in the podcast, some of the bit of your story in that. So what got you guys involved? Jacob, I want you to go first.
I'll try not to
you got to keep it short.
What you can watch in the episode.
Yeah, you got to keep it short, man.
But ultimately, being on the podcast started with a Bible study and conversations, years of conversations that led to us just one day sitting there going, dude, let's do a podcast. And Ben, we're like twins with this, but Ben just looks at me and goes, man, that sounds great. Well, how does that look and what do we do? I'm like, I don't know. Let's figure it out.
That's right. Ketek?
Yeah, what's the question?
Ketek, you got to get closer to the phone, man. Like, that's how this got to work. Let's see. Would you share a bit about maybe like your history, kind of your desire to host the podcast? How did that come together?
That's a great question. Well, God has a great sense of humor, and He made Jacob Watson my cellie. And
Cellmate.
They got me involved in going to a Bible study over at Hart called Theology, what was it called?
You forgot?
Theology.
Yeah, Theology Throwdown. I've been gone a minute. So from that, I was there when you guys had the conversation about it, and I guess me being an audio engineer, I kind of just ended up in it.
Just rolled right down into it. It was perfect.
I want y'all to know the latency of looking at this thing and hearing y'all is like amazing.
I stopped looking at the screen altogether.
Sorry, I'm truly an audio engineer. And really, it was just, when the opportunity came up, it was dope because anytime we get to talk about God, and I mean, it was just a great idea, great opportunity. So that's what got us involved, was the opportunity to be able to let people hear about God from our perspective, from behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Mark, can you hear me? Mark, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. All right, so, we all call you Ketek, but can you explain to the people how you got that nickname?
It's short for keyboard technician, and I have a surrogate family called the Lee family, Hamza, Samaj, and Latif. And the name comes from a Keith Sweat concert in 1988. I think I was like maybe 13 years old. And Hamza was gigging with a band that was opening for Keith Sweat. And this R&B artist, so half the people in the audience ain't gonna know who that is. And the security guy stopped me as a little kid and was like, what is he here for? And Hamza looked at me and looked at the security guard and said, that's Ketek, my keyboard technician. And it got me in, so I stuck with it.
Okay.
That's a good one. So what you're saying is I need to make up a nickname for myself at some point so I can get in pretty much wherever I need to.
Yeah, it's profitable.
All right, I'll leave that up to you guys. It's profitable, he says.
Right there, the camera guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm the camera guy. That's
Jacob.
Yeah.
So,
See,
I didn't know that you had a nickname until today. So apparently they call you Hollywood. What's the story behind that?
that's funny because the Chief Martinez didn't know that till about a month ago either. So basically, I didn't even know I had one until I got here, and everybody saw me walking around with a camera. And there's this guy that ran around and started calling me Hollywood, and at first I didn't really like that because it can bring, it's a connotation with it, but it turned into kind of a funny positive. So now I just have people running around the yard calling me that, and it's crazy how much I've started answering to it without even realizing I'm doing it. But it really just comes from, I always have a camera in my hand.
Yeah,
that's a good reason.
that's true.
That's a good reason.
So, Keytech,
Yeah.
outside of hosting, what else do you do for the podcast?
Well, probably the most significant thing is I mix down all the audio, do all the audio recording, edit conversions for all the different formats for the podcast, help set up for each podcast to tear down, even though for some reason y'all only like the video of me over the food. And, just do a lot of studying to make sure that I give the most sound theology on the podcast as I can.
Cool. Hollywood Watson. Yeah, it's out there now. So, in addition to hosting, what do you do for the podcast?
Man, I get the joy and privilege of doing all the video editing. So every time you watch a podcast episode, that's me chopping it up. Some of the graphics you got to see tonight, I get the joy of making a lot of those animations and visuals, and then I get the joy of hearing Ben later go, hey, why don't we change this? Or why don't we do this? And I'm like, I got you, boss. Yes, sir. I got your boss.
Keytech also gets the joy of testing Robbie's ability to endure and be forbearing.
Right?
It's true.
Lots of forbearance.
It's true. Lots of patience. Yeah.
So one of the things we love about the podcast opportunity is that it gives inmates a chance to say, like, hey, I have skills. I want to develop those skills. I want to work on these things. We're doing what we can to look for other opportunities to bring more men, and eventually, as long as the Lord allows us to grow into other places, maybe even women, so that we can find out how we can support, stir up is kind of the idea, like cultivate strengths in that. And so that way, when the opportunity comes for them to be released and they're out on the streets, they can say, hey, I actually have a portfolio. You can see it online right now. Here's a way that serves these guys, and we're loving that so much. So, man, guys, thank you so much for calling in. We're going to keep going on with the show. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Deborah, as well.
Ben.
Yes.
Is this the part of the show we get to talk about my love of Lord of the Rings and all things Silmarillion?
Yes.
Hit the hang-up button.
Oh, okay, never mind. I'm getting hung up on. See ya. Thank you, everyone, for being here.
Thank you, guys. Yeah. By the way, without fail, every time we get together, it's Lord of the Rings conversation. So that's a big part of our life there, which we love. My gracious. So, Robbie, you want to tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah. So, in addition to Keytech and Jacob, there's myself and Ben. So, my name is Robbie Carpenter. I've been involved in prison ministry since 2002 in different facilities. Started off, did an event at Diamondback Penitentiary, and then also did a couple events at Mabel Bassett, did some events at Kojak, which is the facility for younger offenders that are too old for juvie, but too young for actual prison, but nonetheless, there's still residents there. And that opened up a door for me to meet all three of these guys at Joseph Hart, and been moving forward and progressing ever since. What else should I share about myself, Ben? Oh, so what I hope to get out the podcast. So, to articulate, I wrote some notes so I could sound really intelligent. So y'all bear with me, okay? So it's an ongoing blessing for me to be a part of this ministry. It's kind of surreal. And when I tell people about it, we go do prison ministry. And then when I explain about the podcast, people are like, a podcast in prison? How do y'all do that, right? So it's all about the grace of God and, and many different players that make it happen. So with that, I hope that it gives people insight into what Jesus is doing inside of the prisons. And I really want people to see that it's not just jailhouse religion to get the inmates through while they're there. There's actual authentic life changes happening to the inmates there, whether they're in there for life or whether they're there for a certain amount of time. Life change is actually happening, and we want you all to get to see that happen. So those are my hopes for the podcast. And a little bit more about myself. I don't know. Well, I guess
I know what's coming. He's about to do 14 push-ups and look really, really cool doing it. It's what it's in my notes right here.
So I was practicing on trying to do like diamond push-ups, but like as a handstand. So I'm not gonna do that. Y'all were anticipating. However,
I was like, I got you.
no, but one of the primary things that had got me connected into prison ministry is I've involved in Christian hip hop and poetry. And so I've been able to use and share some of those gifts throughout the prison. And so tonight, I used to be in a rap group called Exodus for a number of years, and then kind of went solo and also joined a collective of other like-minded Christians that are involved in music and just basic ministry called Die Daily. And so from time to time, we would do things, but again, it's opened up a lot of doors for me to be able to minister and share within the prison. I'm not going to rap for y'all tonight. However, I will say this. I will share this with y'all. There seems to be a societal perception that the Holy Spirit stops at the prison gates, with no memo for the Great Commission to minister to the offenders, because some on the outside looking in may, by default, marginalize the image of God in the form of the inmates. But if hell's gates will not prevail against the church, which is a strategy of offense, then we're not very off when we offer the gospel of God's Son's offering to those who have been caught committing the act of their offense. And it's awesome to see transformation. And I'm a prime optimist rolling out what the Lord is bringing, because there is no bond or free, but we're all one in one body in God's kingdom. But like the seeds of Abraham, we may still wrestle with God in the twilight of the soul, grappling for blessings and answers at the crossroads of the unknown, waiting for the dawn. But in retrospect, the sun has already risen, and his life brings light like photosynthesis. One majestic light beam hitting 4 Christians like a prism, reflecting God in their experiences to ignite illumination and critical thinking that transcends prisons, regardless of whatever side of the bars you may fall in. So yeah, each conversation is an articulation and the logic of God, and we got it on lock going down to the prisons. As you listen to 4 voices locked in on topics honest that investigate the essence of existence. Woo, Theology Lockdown.
That's right, boy. You guys may not know, but Robbie is known as APOC on our show, and APOC comes from his career.
I forgot. I have a nickname also. It's APOC, short for apocalyptic, which is shorter for apocalyptic, the revolutionary poet. This is going through evolution throughout the years. But it's easier to say APOC. So that's my rap moniker. And that came about actually when I was in the 11th grade. That was a very pivotal moment in my life. I got saved at a really young age, but it's like the lights really turned on in the 11th grade. And also a lot of my friends rapped. And so, I was in that type of environment. And I was like, man, I need a name that's really cool and unique, And at that time, like I said, the Lord was really getting my attention, and I got really excited about, the book of Revelation, prophecy, and things of that nature. And apocalyptic, I think that would be a really cool name. So that's where it came from.
So good.
Yeah.
Also, we're gonna have to put that as your like subtitles, like your full name, apocalyptic.
The Revolutionary
the
Poet.
Revolutionary.
I used to autograph, but yeah.
So people would be like in line, and you'd be like, 12 minutes, guys. Hang on. 12 minutes.
Yeah.
I'll be back with you in 12 minutes. No. Thanks. Well, a little bit about me. So my name is Ben Winters. I have no nickname, so we'll have to figure that one out down the road. I do lament this deeply in my heart and my soul. My soul desires a nickname, but there's that. I wish I could also do push-ups, but I will max out at least 8, so we'll see how that goes later. But here's what I wanted to do. I wanted to share a bit about me. So a little bit of my background is I come from a deep media background. I own a photography company. Prior to that, I was focusing on video, and I went to school for videography, and there's just a deep love in my heart for that. But out of that also came this genuine love for podcasting. I was like, these things are the coolest. And when I first got into it, I started listening to them nonstop, and I was like, this is like a book, but it's not. It's people just talking, and that was something else. There's something there. So I had that deep love for it. And just like Jacob said earlier, when we originally started talking about this all came out of our theology throwdown Bible study. We almost called it a podcast. I was like, we didn't do that. Our Bible study called Theology Throwdown. And what that looked like was for about 12 years now, I've been going down to Joseph Harp once a month and just being a part of the space there with some guys. We sit around a table. There's about 8 to 10 of us on an average month, and we dig into really deep conversation. And we loved that, loved it. And I was getting poured into so much by these guys, and I was like, man, this is something else. I can't even believe it. And then Jacob, just like he said on the phone, he was like, what if we did this as a podcast? I said, what if we did this as a podcast? We love these things. So the rest is history from there. But prison has a unique kind of role in my life. I have this kind of personal history with it. So Jacob, I knew him many, many years ago, and he just invited me one day. He was like, hey, would you come down and become a volunteer by way of doing this Bible study? I was like, maybe, okay, we'll see. Well, that grew into so many other opportunities. And if you know Jacob, what happens is he asks you kind of in a way that he's like, so sound good? And you're like, actually, everything you said sounds great. And I don't know how I could say no to you. So you just do it anyway, and it works out. So that means I was a part of something called Music Fest, which is a really, really amazing 3-day festival there at Joseph Harp. That was a music festival where they brought in outside artists such as APOC and others. And during that time, I just kind of saw men on the yard kind of turning a different direction. I saw them saying hey, I don't live in prison today. Today, I'm at a music festival. And so they did the same thing again. It was Jacob's idea to do something because he's a big nerd. He did something called HarpCon, which is like Comic Con, that you'd see out in San Diego or something. He said, we're going to do HarpCon, and we're just going to have a bunch of nerds come in and play, board games together and card games together, and we're just going to make a whole day of it, or 3 days, or I don't know, 2 days. Yeah. It's been a while. And so I was there for that, and it was the same thing. The same thing happened. These guys, I witnessed with my own eyes these men who just came alive in a different way. They said, I'm not in prison today, I'm at a convention. And that changed so much. And so I've kind of been a part of so many different things. Crossings Community Church has done so much by way of their outreach into prisons. I've worked with a guy named Jeremiah Broderick who's just invited me out to numerous different things with Crossings, and I've seen the same thing play out over and over and over again where these guys, right now, for example, across all of the prisons here in Oklahoma, they're doing a Olympic Games style thing. That's what I was trying to think. And it's just like you get a chance to watch. By the way, Crossings didn't put that on. That was I think a DOC thing. But you get to watch them just suddenly kind of click into this new space. And I thought, that's what I want to be a part of. That's really, really cool. And so when we started talking about this podcast, I saw that same light switch, and I said, this is my two loves. Podcasting and prison. I was like, how can we marry these things together? And that's where we've kind of settled in. So my notes do say that I'm supposed to do something, interpretive dance, but it does not look so cool. I'm going to skip that part. So I'm going to move on. But here's where we're at. So we're going to share some hopes for the podcast and what that looks like. But first, we're going to show kind of a truncated version of our first episode. So this is episode 001, which is just kind of a way to learn a bit more about us. So we'll share this. By the way, I do apologize now. I talk a lot in this. You've seen me talk a lot up here, but as kind of, I play the role of host on the podcast, so I'm the one asking a lot of questions and kind of reframing and making sure that everything makes sense. Otherwise, if we deliver a podcast and it doesn't make sense, what's the point? So I unfortunately talk a lot on this, so I apologize. If you'll just bear with us in that. But we're going to watch this kind of short supercut of the episode, and then we'll be right back. Welcome to Theology Lockdown Podcast. This is the place where honest conversations about life and faith and doctrine are going to meet to help us carry through and answer bigger questions. How do we deal with these same things in our life? Inside, outside of prison walls. That's what this is all about. Mm-hmm. We want to get in today to some really cool ideas of where this came from. But before we even get into that, let's introduce our panel here. This is who's on the podcast. My name is Ben Winters. I'm a volunteer with the Oklahoma Department of Corrections. I'm joined by another fellow volunteer. This is Robbie APOC Carpenter, as well as our two brothers serving time in Orange, the indomitable Mark Ketek Murray and the effervescent Jacob Watson. So
nice.
Here we go. In this inaugural episode, we're going to spend time kind of meeting our hosts and getting to know each other just a little bit, kind of see why we're here. But ultimately, we want to work through why this podcast even exists.
Yeah.
What kind of spurred the whole idea? Answer questions like, where did this come from? The whole concept around prison ministry, its effect on inmates and the DOC and volunteers. And then ultimately, what can you, the listener, the viewer, expect from this whole podcast? So let's get into it. So I'm really excited. So let's jump into that. Like, why are we even recording? Like, how did this whole thing come about? Like, I traced it back to Jacob whenever I was first thinking about this many years ago. Can you tell that story?
So, some of it is Ben and I both met at a place called Love and Justice Church way back when.
Many years ago.
Many years ago. And we would do these community groups. I can't even remember what they were called at the time, but we did like deep theological studies. Sometimes they would go deep, sometimes they were surface level, but it was theological studies that we did in that room. And we did some tech stuff together too with the church early on. That's when I was kind of in my infancy. Infancy.
Yes. Yeah.
And one day I'm just talking to you. I'm like, dude, let's do those theological studies. Now as a believer, I can appreciate it. So I'm like, let's do these theological studies in prison and get a group of guys together, which led us into Theology Throwdown. This was all prior to the podcast.
Yeah, this is way back.
And then the conversation over the years just started going, wouldn't it be cool if we had a podcast? So, because there's so many experiences, man. Like as a believer, there's so many experiences we've had in prison that just affect, I think, and I've seen it as we talk about these experiences, how they affect volunteers and even our own family members. So, I'm just excited to see what the Lord does.
I want to define theology for a second, because the name of the podcast being Theology Lockdown, it's kind of a play, right? We've got theology, which we'll get into in a second. Lockdown is a referral to both being on the yard and having lockdowns on the yard. But it's also really important that we don't just kind of become a Christian and then assume we know everything, which I don't think anybody would ever claim. Hopefully. Well, you know somebody like that? Weird. Okay. Maybe we'll find out. But no, the idea of theology is theos. So you break down that word, theos is God, and logos, the second half of that is word study. So we're trying to learn about God. We're studying God and ultimately trying to hear from his word. And so Theology Lockdown is our kind of push into that, right? Where we're trying to lock down God, what have you taught us? How can we be obedient? What are big words like sanctification and repentance and like does prayer even work? Like, how does that stuff? So those are the kinds of things we'll be getting into. But one thing that we kind of look at when we think about theology is it's not just some big wishy-washy, $10 word. You see in the Bible, like Proverbs tells us, it is the glory of God to conceal things, and it is the glory of kings to search those things out.
Dude, and how cool is it that we're literally in prison right now? We're in prison recording this podcast, talking about theology, and like you said, just separating the fence, the wall between the inside church and the outside church, and showing that we're one body, and then having these conversations.
It's just fulfilling what the word says, honestly. I'm going to let it be known now, I'm horrible with addresses in the scripture, but I'll know what it means. Think about that one verse where he says, neither Greek nor Jew or Gentile, such and such. And I'm paraphrasing, get quick through it. But it was saying we're all one in Christ.
Right. Yeah.
And this podcast is the embodiment of that.
That's exactly it, man. That's what makes this podcast so powerful is it's breaking, like I said, it's breaking down those walls and bringing us to the table and saying, let's have a conversation. Let's show experiences. Let's show what God's done in the lives of volunteers, of inmates.
And so this whole goal, our podcast exists to bring that conversation in. And then hopefully my goal is that we don't see the orange and the plain clothes as any different. Like, we're still working through the same stuff. As a volunteer, I've been in and out of so many different places now in the Oklahoma Department of Corrections. And the thing I keep coming back to is, like, people on the inside are just not different from people on the outside.
Yeah.
They're just not. No one is. I just haven't met anyone that that's had an honest conversation with me from the inside that I would look at and be like, man, you're way too different. You would not fit in out there. Like, everybody runs in that same vein. And so, like, that's I think that's what, like, the prison ministry has done for me. And I struggle calling it ministry because I say this all the time. Anytime I come into any prison, I am ministered to by the church that's on the yard, by the men or the women who are worshiping Jesus. Whenever I'm spoken to with care and love. And, like, people ask about my family because they're genuinely wanting to know about my family. And I'm like, oh, right. Like, you actually care. Like, you care about how my mom's doing. Like, that matters. And so that's had an impact on me and made me want to turn around and push back in. And so that's a big picture of why we're even doing this. Do you guys have any other thoughts on, like, what prison ministry, and I'm using that term in quotes because that can be a pretty loose term, but what kind of impact has that had on you guys? What have you seen around the yards you've been a part of, the different spaces, groups you've been a part of on the yards? What does that look like?
I think a lot of my experience with volunteers has been, wow, they care about me, because we do get into this mindset of, dude, I've done something so horrific that I'm broken, and you do start putting yourself in a mindset of, like, how can anyone love me? How can I be seen as valuable? How can I be seen as anything other than just trash, like he said, to be thrown away? So there's a mission field in your backyard, and I hear that all the time from volunteers. What you said a minute ago too is, you guys come in thinking we're going to minister to the inmates, and what you end up seeing is this beautiful unison, right, of volunteers and inmates just worshiping the Lord together. It doesn't become one is ministering the other. It becomes we're ministering to each other together, growing together, growing in holiness together, and just loving the Lord.
That's good. Rob, you got anything for that?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, it's community, if somebody, like, is involved with prison ministry, it is exotic and unique, but for the wrong reasons, in their perspective. Like, oh, really?
Let's be honest, you get the ew.
Like, what is that like? Like, are you scared? Are you like, what if they? Because what media person? Now I know some of these things do happen. In prison. So, again, being honest.
Yes.
But it doesn't end there. That's not where it stops. And so it's always funny to me when some of the reactions I've gotten from people, because they're just basing what their limited perspective from what they've seen on TV or movie or whatnot, and so when I get to really elaborate and explain, some people are like, oh, that's really cool, that's awesome, man.
Some people like, man, I want to be a part. I've been trying to get in. Like, what do I need to do? So there's some people that are really excited that want to be able to experience and to be a part of that community. And then you have some people, they love Jesus, but it's like...
It's not Oz and Orange is the New Black 24/7, 365.
Yeah, like a lot of that is over dramatized. And now again, some of those things happen in prison. This is prison, but for the most part, you have genuine people who are genuinely seeking God, and you have genuine people who recognize in their life they made a mistake and they came to prison.
More than people would think.
So welcome to Theology Lockdown.
Well, okay, let's talk about that. So what can listeners expect from this podcast? So I want to kind of give a couple overviews. So we will not be exhaustive on every topic, because every topic we discuss, for example, in our next episode, we'll be getting into salvation. And salvation is as deep as you can possibly dig, but we don't have 10 hours to record and nobody wants to listen to that. Instead, we want to give some things a bit more bite-sized, right? Yeah. So we want to offer some thoughts to chew on, ways to kind of sit in it and understand it a bit better.
For Jacob prefers the term fun size.
Fun size.
There's nothing fun size about fun size candies. It's annoying.
It's mini
size.
It's
frustrating. Call it what you want. They used to call it fun size M&Ms. Sorry, I'm losing.
Would fun size be bigger because it's more fun to eat big
Yes.
food?
Now, if you're talking about a pound of M&Ms, then that's
fun.
fun. But these
also
little
sounds
packages.
like a bad time.
What about ice cream?
Look, I don't want to get lost here because I feel like we're getting lost in the weeds. But my point is, shame on fun size any candy.
That's right. That's right.
Sorry, Ben, I did that.
That's good. Now we jumped into it. So we will have some episodes, though, that will go deeper. So we will go into deep dives on various topics, because there are some topics that are hard. Now, granted, everything's hard in its own way, right? Like salvation is not an easy, breezy conversation. But there are some topics that require more to chew on and more to think about, especially in the context of prison, such as suffering. That's a really hard topic. So we're going to spend some time really trying to deep dive into it, go theologically deep. What does the Bible really teach? What can we take comfort in? How can we kind of raise our eyes in that? So that's a big part of it. But there's some ground rules that we try to work through with this podcast. So we acknowledge that God's given us lived experience. Very important, extremely important. If God did not give us lived experiences, what would we be, right? But we also recognize that God gave us his word, and his word is unchanging. That was 13 minutes. We spared the whole 35. You did not have to get the whole 35 minutes, but thank you guys so much. A couple notes I was taking during this. Jacob's head is very bald. So we need to get some stuff to figure that out. And then also, I don't know how many people out there share in Jacob's opinion of fun-sized candy, but I would count myself as one of those. There's nothing fun about candy this size. It's like pitiful is what it is. But anyway, other opinions on that. So thank you guys for joining us in that. What we'd like to do next is we've got a few guests in the room we want to invite up to kind of give some color in some of the areas that we haven't been able to yet. Namely as a church or as the Department of Corrections, someone a part of the Department of Corrections, we want to invite them to share some of their perspective on it. So I'm going to start real quick with Pastor Keith Burkhart. He's pastor here at this very church. Thank you so much. If you grab that, you know what you're doing with that thing. Thank you so much for being here. And if you would share a bit on kind of volunteer work.
Yeah, it's so good to be with you all tonight. I'm so grateful we can host this. You know, I don't think there's a church or a family, let me just reverse that, a family or a church that's not been impacted by someone they know, very personal, or at least know about, that's not been affected by incarceration. And so I think of Jacob's story. I watched Jacob grow up here at First Southern. My son Andrew, who pastors at Frontline, he was the pastor. He started Love and Justice when he was 19 with Ben and a bunch of these young people who want to turn the world upside down. And but I know we all know people. There are 4 people right now that are part of my church that are incarcerated right now. Now you think, wow, what kind of church do you have? Well, we have a church that looks like our community. Because what family is not impacted by addiction? What family is not impacted by some form of brokenness? And it's just, it shocks us back in the reality that we all need Jesus. And so I believe that when the church and the Department of Corrections, I'm so grateful for you guys. It is just an honor to just get to walk with humble servants that love people. You're called of God, and we all have different assignments. I have an assignment to pastor this church. You have an assignment at the prison with Oklahoma Department of Corrections. And so I believe when we work together, there's nothing we can't do. There's not a fence. There's not a bar. There's not an office building large enough or fancy enough to keep the gospel from invading. And so our heart is we just want to do what we can. I'm so grateful for Crossings Community Church. God has blessed them, and I believe why he's blessing them so much is because they just give incredibly to our community. I'm so grateful for Dr. Perkins and OBU. I don't know that you're privileged to hear the stories that I get to read in what's something called the Baptist Messenger, of stories of these inmates receiving their theology degrees. And so I believe as we, the big church, work together and we go into the yards and we begin to touch lives, and we go in and actually get to worship more freely than we do in our pews. I wish our people in the pews would worship like they do in the yards. I think I've been in every yard in Oklahoma. Every one of them are the same. And when you go in there, I am more free being with people who are behind bars. And so, Ben, we're praying for you, buddy.
Yeah.
Man, it's awesome to hear your story. We can partner with these guys. We can pray for the Department of Corrections. We can pray for these leaders. They need it. And so you may not be able to go into the yards. You may not be called to that. But we all have a part, and together we can do more. And so I am so grateful that we just get a small part. We just open our facility. There's a lot more I hope we can do in the future. But I know that our God can do anything. There's nothing our God cannot do. And there's not a life that is not reachable through the power of Jesus Christ. And so, hey, God bless you. We're so grateful that you're here. If you want to connect in some way, see these guys. If you want to support them, if you want to, there are a lot of chaplains in here. Hey, if you want to find how you can connect, don't leave here without doing that. God bless you.
We would be remiss if we didn't acknowledge, again, DLC's role in all of this. And so you're going to get to hear from them as well. And in that, Chaplain Leo Brown, a huge part of us being able to do what we do. So he oversees chaplaincies and oversees prison volunteers. So Leo Brown.
Okay.
Do we turn it off when I said? Oh, it's back.
There we go. Okay, back on. Is it okay if I stand back here?
Yes, but if I can hide behind you.
No, say you don't have anybody behind you.
That's right. You don't have. That's right. You're right. You're right.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I just they asked me to talk just a minute about the importance of volunteers. I want to start by this. I want to start by sharing with you something that gets underneath my skin. Okay. When I hear people say that there is nothing positive going on in prison, or people's lives are not being changed in prison, or we don't have programs and services and activities that are impacting people in prison, that gets underneath my skin. Because I know we have thousands of volunteers that are coming in and impacting people's lives. Now we have other programs too, like education and other things. We're really working hard to provide those opportunities for rehabilitation. But a lot of our rehabilitation efforts takes place through the volunteers that come in from across our state, giving their time and efforts and energy to make a difference in somebody's life. And I tell you, I've been working with the agency for quite a while now, and that never ceases to amaze and bless me to see what that looks like. one of the reasons that they put chaplaincy over our volunteers is about 85 to 90% of our volunteers across the state come from the faith community, most of those from our churches. And that impact of encouraging, building up, strengthening the people inside prisons makes a huge difference. Somebody once told me, so, is it possible to have church inside prison? And I just want to say, come and see, And believe me, if there's never a volunteer coming into a prison, there's a church there, because when you have believers behind bars, God's there. And God is moving and God's doing things. But the volunteers play such an important role, encouraging, strengthening, equipping, lifting up, just like Jacob was saying about just having people coming in demonstrating God's love. And I've heard the same thing. I've heard so many inmates come up to me and just says, it's amazing to me, because I hear people say God loves you. But when people are coming in, sometimes driving 2 or 3 hours to come inside a prison and to show up, to demonstrate in bodily form the love of God, that impacts people. That impacts people in a way that nothing else can. And so it's just a tremendous blessing. And the other thing that I think y'all asked me to talk about just briefly is what I see as possibly the role of the impact that this podcast could have. And it was said really well in the podcast earlier, but enabling that communication, to take place between the people on the inside and God's people on the outside, to breaking down that wall, and, because there's a book written a while back called A Country Called Prison, and it was actually written by a professor at OU, Boomer Sooner. It was awesome in the fact that it really identified that, yes, people are the same. Just like people are the same in China, in Mexico, in Brazil, people are the same. You got the same hurts, you got the same needs, you got the same struggles, and you got the same God that's there. But the culture is different. How they experience it is different. And how you experience it in prison is a little different than how you experience it on the outside. And being able to share that, being able to see that perspective, and be able to let God's people on the outside see what God is doing on the inside, I think that's just going to be awesome. Yeah. And so anything we can do to support and encourage this work, hey, we want to be all in. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's huge. It really does honor us that so many people from the Department of Corrections are here. That's a big deal. And we're kind of the podcast's hometown is that's what I'm calling it. Yeah. Is at John Lilly Correctional Center, and that's out in Boley, Oklahoma. Has anybody here been to Boley, Oklahoma? You may raise your hand. Okay. I saw that hand over there.
I volunteer at John Lilly.
Oh, very good. Okay, I love this. All right, so we drive out to Boley and we do a whole bunch of stuff there. But in our time there, we've been able to meet some people that have been really amazing. And so what we'd like to do is invite up Michael Whitmore. He's a staffer there at Boley, who has he's only been there forever, but he's been a huge, just a little bit, but he's just been a huge part of. Are you back here too?
I'm back here too.
All right, nobody behind you. I get it. Right. I'll give you this. He's been a huge part of getting us off the ground to do everything that we need to do. And can you tell a bit about your role as well there at the prison?
Well, I'm a unit manager at John Lilly Correctional Center. So I had to write some stuff down, and since Jacob hollered out on that, so I got to call him Little Bo Peep. He'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
Do we need to change his name to Little Bo Peep?
Yeah, Little Bo Peep.
All right, we'll do that, yeah.
So I wrote some things down. I'm a unit manager at John Lilly Correctional Center. I'm also a sponsor of the Media Lab, which is where the podcast is produced. So let me start by saying I'm not the greatest speaker, but I promise to get us through us all. Ben asked me to speak tonight about the project, and it means for Oklahoma Department of Corrections and our facility. Instead, I want to speak to you about the character of the inmates, the integrity in the podcast, and how the podcast has positively affected the facility and our staff. But first, here's a little background of me. My history in criminal justice spans from working in law enforcement with the Oklahoma Department of Corrections for more than 20 years. This is the first time in my career I've seen such a positive and progressive opportunity like this podcast. I have met many inmates over my career, and when you do this type of work, you can become very jaded towards people. I can tell you that in the 20 years, I've counted on two hands how many inmates I believe reformed and ready for society. So I'm glad to stand here on this stage and tell you that I not only believe in these two inmates in this podcast, but being their sponsor and renewed my faith in the work we do as a correctional staff. I'll explain further. You see, prison is a unique place, and it doesn't allow an inmate to hide his true character. Everyone is watching and everything is known. So what does that mean? This means the two inmates you see on the podcast don't just speak of change, they truly live out the change of life. From many different inmates to numerous staff members, we constantly hear of how these two guys have positively influenced to be around. I can stand here and personally tell you that they are not the same people that brought them to prison, and their lives reflect it. It's also been refreshing to watch the volunteers and these two inmates work on this podcast. I've come to recognize just how important, vital, and impactful it has been for our agency to allow projects such as this podcast. A few years ago, under the leadership of former Director Harp, our agency motto was changed to "We Change Lives." This podcast stands an example to the mission by the Department of Correction approving this podcast. Society is now able to see the life-changing work that takes place displayed in the lives of these two inmates. Also, it shows the world that they are helping individuals succeed in giving inmates another chance at life. The world around us is constantly changing, so it's encouraging to see Oklahoma Department of Corrections change with it. And I'm proud to work for the Oklahoma Department of Corrections and excited for the future of this podcast and other projects like it. So I want to thank Ben and Robbie for all the work you put in to this project, for allowing me to help when I can, for sacrificing your personal finances and your personal time. You're not just affecting those watching this podcast, you're affecting DOC staff, other volunteers in a positive way. Also, I would like to thank the Director Ferris because without your strong leadership, projects such as this would not take place. The same is true for Chief Kay Thompson and Chief Nicole Fleming. Thank you. And we also want to thank our Warden Terry Tuggle and Chief Ernesto Martinez for allowing this podcast to be produced at JLCC. I believe that this project is going to impact the state of Oklahoma in a very positive way. So in closing, I want to say we really do change lives at the Department of Corrections, not just John Lilly, it's everywhere. So thank you, and thank you for coming out tonight.
Thank you so much. Well, whenever we record, when we get a chance to record, we go out there and get all set up and everything. Without fail, I look up at one point and the door is silhouetted by this man who's just kind of leaning in with a smile. Who's just looking around like, hey. And I'm just like, there he is, that's Mr. Whitmore. So excited he's here. So now our final guest speaker who we'd love to hear from is Warden Tuggle. Please come on up. Warden Tuggle is, whenever we met him, we sat in his office and he told us all sorts of wonderful things. And so we were just so grateful that he's here and willing to share with us. So come on up. I've got a microphone for you, my friend. You took notes and everything?
So wait a minute. Now this is what happened. So what I got here, you sent me an email or something.
I did, yes.
But I just kind of glimpsed it off. Okay. All right. Yeah. Then I get here and I see Whitmore had a whole page, right? So then I got a little jealous. So let me tell you how my notes came out. Y'all see this love's receipt? Oh, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Does that mean you're going to keep it so the link to the receipt?
Don't bet on that. I told you when I came in here what they do to me, right?
That's true.
All right.
We'll start humming when it's time.
Yeah, give me something. You know, you told me about the clock right there.
Yeah, there's
right?
a clock up there. It's
Yeah,
working
all right,
down.
I got you. So anyway, let me just start off. I'm going to say something. Let's see. Leo Brown, we've been friends forever. We've a long time. Long time. He don't have but one flaw, and he is assuming I'm a cowboy. Dr. Perkins, I got to say something about you guys is because, so before this media lab come up and podcasts and all of this, so we had the field ministers, and you talking about, you think this is special, that's special. And so I'm thinking like, you going to bring these inmates, first of all, I couldn't understand that they went to OBU. That was first thing first. Oh, they weren't online. No, they went, and then they told me they actually graduated at OBU, right? And so these field ministers are supposed to come in and they're going to minister to all the inmates. And they should be able to go anywhere in the facility and talk to inmates. I don't know if that's going to work, right? So we think about it, so come on, bring it on. And so guess what? It's been extremely successful. And so where's the chap at? Hey, that's my chap right there.
That's right.
Yeah. I didn't want to miss you, man, because I was looking for you. So through his help, now you went over talking about somebody spearheading and we got all these things going. Thank you, chap. So we got that right there, I thought that was something special, and it is something special. So as I go through that process and I saw that, so I just can't leave them out of this whole thing because we got a lot of wonderful things going on at John Lilly Correctional Center. I heard all the things you were talking about and what y'all was doing. We can't leave them guys out of this picture. You have to see what they do and how they minister to those guys. And when they got issues, you know, I used to think that nobody was going to go confide in them. Wrong. All the things I thought, wrong. So anyway, so I just want to give that heads up to them right there. Chief, got a good chief. Whitmore, you know where you're at with me, right? All right. So I often just, when something come down, I just throw them, I say, Whitmore, you got to go do this. So that's what I did with the field ministry. When we talked about the media guys, I said, Whitmore, go handle that. And so then I just kind of walk away, right? He's all right with me, man.
With Jacob and Keatek, it's for the best.
So, yeah, he's all right with me. So I'm going to go to my little notes now. So I'm going to just tell you quickly about myself. So I'm already running out of time. See what I told you? So myself is, I started working for the Department of Correction in 1985. So I got recruited to work at OSP. So I got to thinking about it. I said, man, this is crazy. How am I going to work in a penitentiary and I'm by 2 steps from being in it myself? Because all my partners were getting locked up. I heard what you were saying, preacher. I'm running, all my friends has been locked up, and you said, well, it was normal. It's normal for where I come from, in the hood. That's where I come from, and that's normal. So you don't really see, it's not a big deal. You know what? Oh, I hope he don't go to jail long. That's kind of how the conversation goes. You know, I hope he don't lock him up for a long time. But anyway, I'm thinking, here they recruiting me to work in a penitentiary, and I'm 2 steps from being locked up myself. And so once I got in the penitentiary, I got to thinking like, oh, no, I can't handle this. So I kept thinking, I'm going to quit, right? Year go by, I'm still going to quit. 2 years go by, I'm going to quit. And then I used to always talk to my grandmother. My grandmother was my person. You know, everybody got that person, right? So my grandmother was that person. And she would always say, well, baby, you just need to hang in there. You never know what God got in store for you. And then she was always using this word, calling. Y'all hear that? Calling. I didn't know what she was talking about. Ain't nobody called me, you know? And so we went through that process. And so when we go through this, but I'm going to tell you something. About 20 years in, and my mama had died, and I started thinking about a lot of things that we were talking about. That is a calling. You know, I'm thinking I'm not going to be here, and I don't want to deal with that. And then I'm still there. So right now, I think it's 41 years and 7 months right now that I've been working for DOC. So that's one of the things is, so we started talking about a lot of things. And I heard what you were saying. And you said something about, okay, I got like 4, the prison ministry, when we was talking about these things at my church, I heard the number 4. So at my church, what we do is, when we ask somebody something, maybe 4 people may raise their hand up that hasn't had anybody incarcerated in their family, or they haven't been incarcerated. That's how the 4 come at my church. It won't come like that because everybody we got has got, either somebody's been incarcerated, you got family incarcerated, they're in there now, or whatever. So that I understand where you're at and where you're thinking, and I appreciate that comment that you made. I really do, because I'll never hear that. So thanks for that comment. So we're going to talk about the introduction of the Media Lab to when I got it. So the conversation came up, and I think I had Chief Flemings and called me, and I don't know who all I talked to, but I really wasn't sure about it. I was just thinking, because the thing they were saying, I said, man, we can't do that in no penitentiary. It's not going to work. I went through that process, so I thought about it for some more. And so we said, okay, come on, let's do it. Let's try it. So we did that. Been very successful. So he's waiting on them to come. So Mark Ketek came first. So after I talked to him, got to know him, I thought that was cool. I said, yeah, he all right. He's a pretty solid dude. Then we waited a few more weeks, and Jacob came. And then when I talked to him, I said, I think we made a mistake. Yep. And that boy won't shut up, man. Undo. He won't shut up. So if you get in there, and sometimes I just look at him, I say, man, shut up. Just shut up. I don't want to hear no more. And then what did he do? Keep going even further. But, so, all the things been said, y'all did a very good introduction. That was excellent.
Thank you.
And so you can see what they're doing, and I can see the change in the yard. So at our yard, it's made a major difference. See, we just been talking about the podcast. See, this is what we've been talking about here. But I'm talking about what's happening at my facility. So we got our own channel, our own TV channel. And we got different things that they put on there all the time, and we try to keep the channel fresh with all the things going on and different things. We got action going on right now. We having DOC is having our first annual DOC Olympics or inmate games, or whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of things changing. Everybody listening and they just talking it, but DOC is really changing. Somebody said changing lives. That's real. So when we go through that process, we doing that. And so I just look at my TV. I keep my TV on our channel, and that's just to see what's going on the yard. It's spectacular. That's that Media Lab. And that's how that thing is doing that. And then we doing cooking shows. Can y'all imagine that? So how yesterday doing a cooking show? We don't got no stove. We got a microwave.
You cook everything in the microwave.
It cook everything in the microwave. I'm just kind of curious, because where they get some of these products, I'm trying to figure it out. So I might get the chief to go lock down in that food service a little bit. But anyway. I've been trying to figure it out. And then I've been upset because ain't nobody gave me nothing to eat yet. So anyway. But far as the podcast is concerned, we got so many things going. The future is great. It's built up our whole facility. Everything is going good. And so I just want to thank you guys for coming over. And I knew I had a long conversation with you guys. And so we go through that, and I'm going to shut up because my time has been ran over. So anyway, thank you, everybody. And I've just been excited to be here.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Thank you. No, that was, man, thank you guys for blessing us and being here. It's a big deal. Okay, so here's where we're kind of passing to. We have some stuff to give away, but before we get there, this is the tantalizing thing. Like we're gonna be
the free stuff.
Guys, we're so excited about the free stuff. Like I can't even. Right
Can y'all say free stuff? I'm not feeling it. Say free stuff.
Free stuff.
Okay.
Free T-shirts.
All right.
Y'all like free T-shirts? My gracious. So here's a little bit of what we want to do. So the why behind Theology Lockdown Podcast. Why do we do this? We've tried to kind of make this clear. I'm going to state it one more time. We've got some really great places we can put these things out. So we have a YouTube channel.
Yes.
And that's wonderful, and that's a lot of fun to kind of like see the videos play. We've got them up on Apple Podcasts. That's really cool that is now available anywhere someone has an iPhone or an Apple device. We have Spotify to kind of fill in the other gaps because people don't all have iPhones. But and I hate on Spotify a little bit, but that's just me. Those are wonderful. But here's the thing: our heart's desire ultimately is, yes, to get it out of the prison, and so we record these things and we send it out. But let me see how I wrote it down. You are not our primary audience. That's what it was. So here's what we mean by that. We love sharing it out, but man alive, our hearts we want it to go back in. Because the goal of this podcast is growth in Jesus Christ for inmates. Mm-hmm. Now, if that also plants seeds in hearts outside, then amen. That's a huge bit of what we get to do. And that's great. The problem is with all of these are completely unavailable to inmates.
Right.
Right? So no one on the inside of prison has the ability to just pop on YouTube and watch Theology Lockdown Podcast or listen to it here or there. So what are the options? That's kind of where we're at. Like we really, really want these to dig in. So what's the option?
So the option for inmates, since they don't have access to any of these, is the Pando app. So the prison systems now widely use tablets, and they're secure tablets. And Pando is, there's 665,000 tablets in 49 states where they have access to Pando.
By the way, that's 2024 numbers. So this is the last 2 years. That's grown even more, but these are the latest numbers that we can pull.
And so they have controlled apps for content access. And with that, the app functions just like YouTube, but for the inmates or the residences that are inside. And the podcast, if we're able to put the podcast on Pando, we can reach a larger range of inmates across the board. And continue that impact, and truth can meet them in quiet, searching moments. Because sometimes it's those quiet moments where they meet God. And so in order for us to really make that happen, we need to get the podcast on Pando.
Podcast on Pando. Well, so my wife asked me to mention this because prior to her knowing me, she said, I didn't actually know that there were churches on the yard. Like, she's like, I didn't realize that. There's churches on the yard. There's actually places where men and women can connect and talk about Jesus and meet with volunteers, et cetera, et cetera. And that's great. But one of the downsides to that is that if someone is in a cell and all they have is a tablet, those are those quiet spaces where no one else can reach them. So that tablet is kind of the window in. That's why when we said 665,000 tablets, that's over 500,000 inmates who have access to this, which is a huge deal. And that number is growing. So our heart would be, man, what if we reached 1 million inmates with this whole message? So part of the problem, though, is it costs a lot of money to do these things. So there's production cost alone just for the podcast. For example, we have a website, and the website exists so that way others can learn and find out about it. And right now, our web developer and his team are actually, what's the right word? Previously incarcerated. And they, once they got, his name's David Ward, he actually served time with Ketek and Jacob. He got out and he was like, man, I'm skilled with web development. I'm learning new things. And my heart is to see all of this growth within the prison. So he wanted to turn around and actually use his skills to serve inmates. And so he's doing all of that, for example, out of his own pocket in many ways. So there's cost to the website. There's cost for us to travel. It takes us an hour and a half out of a workday to drive one way, and then an hour and a half out of a workday to drive back, and we spend our time there. So there's a lot of that goes into it. There's equipment. You guys saw at the beginning of the video of us rolling all that equipment in. That's all the camera equipment, the lighting equipment, things like that there's a lot of cost overhead involved. And then the biggest cost is the Pando app for hosting all this content on it. So here's what that looks like. One kind of image of this, it's about $1,200. We've estimated it out to be about $1,200 per episode. And we're trying to release 2 episodes a month, so that way it doesn't just kind of stagnate and float away in the breeze. So that's about a $2,400 I messed that up. $1,200 per episode, $2,400 a month. There we go. Got it right. Second try.
Yes.
But that ultimately means that we can't do it alone. So our hope and our ask is that if this is something that you yourself or you can think of someone else that you're like, there's opportunities here, we want to somehow get that connected. So there's a lot of opportunities to get plugged in. For example, oh, hey, that's already up. I'm good. I keep swinging around because I'm like looking at the deal. So we have merchandise we would love to share with you. This is some opportunities. Like we're rocking it right now. We got hats and T-shirts and some coffee mugs and all sorts of great stuff on our store. So that helps us pay for these types of things. That helps us kind of get that down the road. And you may be like, hey, I can't support like $1,000 or $1,200 episode. That's okay. Like even if you just help pay for a little piece of it, that's a big deal to us. So our hope is ultimately to put these episodes on the tablets to help answer those same big questions that you and I ask, that we're asking those same big, like we have big questions, we're looking for big answers. That's what we're trying to get back onto the tablet for our friends and those we don't know to be able to access. Am I missing something? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I was.
So you mentioned, the merch and also partnering through podcasts, advertising opportunities, church partnerships, recurring donations. So, if the Lord is putting it on your heart, then, we pray that you follow that tug. And again, if you don't have it, we get it. We understand, but you may know people that do, like Ben had said earlier. So please pray, please consider it, because I believe that all of us in this room really want to see this podcast move forward in the direction that God wants it to move in. So.
Yeah, so on the website, there's one-time donation options, there's monthly donations, like that's like think of it like you're walking with us each month as we're releasing this. That's a big deal to us. We would love to see something there. But bigger than that, or other opportunities, be partnering with churches. So if you or your church are saying, hey, we've got a way that we can bless these guys who are doing this, and we want to see it go even deeper and further into the different spaces, like onto the tablets across, hopefully the world, because the whole idea is that this is going to grow bigger and bigger, but across the United States especially, then we would love to kind of work through that. If you own a company, or if you know someone who owns a company who's like, hey, I would love to put my name with this. We'd love to talk through advertising and how that would work. Advertising on the podcast, especially on our website, that's a really big place. We'd love to promote that. So the idea is help us kind of like bring this biblical truth and opportunity into those overlooked places, right? Into that cell, into the hands of an inmate that we're trying to reach, because that's where our heart's turning. So.
I think that may cover it.
That was the last line that I had written down. So
okay. So
also, dude, your mom's a retired DOC officer?
Yeah.
I didn't even know this.
She is.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
His mom did not know that. That's amazing. Hey, these are notes we're sharing back and forth. Yeah. Like, hey, by the way,
in real time. So with that said, everybody say silence. Everybody say free stuff. We'll try that again. All right. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Free stuff. All right. So next we're going to be doing our raffle giveaways. So I believe everybody got a raffle ticket.
Did you guys get raffle tickets?
Did y'all get raffle tickets? Yes. All right.
Okay. If you did not, this is bad news. But if you did not, then you'll just have to watch, because that's where we're at. But let me grab this. Hey. You go back over here. All right. How's this work? There you go. Grab one of those. I'm not looking, even though that doesn't matter. I didn't grab it. There you go.
All right.
Our first thing is a T-shirt. So we're giving away a T-shirt, and then we've got something special in here, and then we'll give away some more. So we'll go through these fairly quickly.
All right. So this number that I hold in my hand is
way more than it should be.
I just feel so. All right. So the number that I have. So I know the anticipation is killing y'all. Like, dude,
yeah, it's killing me right now.
Okay. So it's not 7. And it's not 9. Yes, so it's 8. There you go.
Is it the number 8?
It is the number 8.
Okay.
Yeah. Who has number 8?
Who's got the number 8? Hey, here we go.
Okay.
All right, very good. That was way more. What size do you wear, by the way?
Oh, sure.
Sure, yes. I don't have a size 13. Man, I got a 2X right here for you. Very good. Hopefully nobody else who wears a 2X comes up here because I don't have that. We'll see.
So we got these next.
All right, so next up we have something very special. So my wife is a potter, and she hand makes amazing pottery. Here's an example of everything going through. So Ashlyn, this is my wife, Ashlyn with Ashes and Ivy Ceramics. She handmade these tumblers on the left. So that's what we're giving away tonight. Are these the one on the left is a tumbler. These are special edition versions. They're very specific to the launch party. So we're really excited to be giving that away. A value of $400,000, by the way. $400,000.
Right.
Maybe not. I don't know. Actually, Ashlyn, can I have you come up here real quick?
She was trying to sneak out.
Yeah, you were trying to run away. Okay. Don't have you pick. Don't look. Don't look. Yeah. You know everybody's number by heart, so. Yeah. Number is?
It's marked out. Oh.
Try that one.
254.
254.
Hey.
254.
Come on down.
Let's go. Come on down. We have a free tumbler, and it looks really good even inside the bag, just like this. So, what's your name? Philip. Hey, Philip, what's up, man? Hey, did you send me an email?
Not yet.
Okay, I thought I got an email from you at some point, so maybe not. Anyway, hi, Philip. Glad you're here. All right, let's go for another T-shirt. Don't look. Don't look. Nobody else look. It's bad. Bad luck.
All right, so.
Hopefully it's an XL or a large. That's all I got. Actually, we have a couple more, but I don't know where they're at.
All right, here we go. Right here.
This is way too much, man.
This is it.
We need music for this part. You guys have something? You can play some music for this? Mostly just to drown out the awkwardness right now. I'm feeling.
All right.
Oh, hey, there we go.
The number is 255.
255.
255.
255. Who had 255? Hey!
You like that dramatic pause?
Yeah, there was a very dramatic pause. Like I thought it was 2. What was that? What size? Okay, take this one. If we need to figure it out, we can get one later for you. But all right. And next up for our deal here, I'll pick this one here. Okay. Watch how a professional does it. I'm not a professional. We're gonna make a little bit of like da-da-da-da-da-da for a mug for a brand new tumbler. The number we're looking for is 162. 162. Woo! Thank you so much.
Hello, tell Miss G.
Okay, Miss G. All right, Keytech, if you're watching, Miss G says what's up.
You sounded like you were doing bingo.
B50.
That one right there.
50.
Okay.
Oh, that one right there. All right,
Yeah.
here we go. Here we go.
Yep.
All right, it's the Lord cast the die. Wow, these are all high numbers, y'all. I think this is the last number in all of the sheets that we cut for this, which, by the way, could have been a whole thing. The number is 256. 256. Wow, all right, maybe not. Anybody? Watch that be my brother, and he left early, and I told him what's up. 256? 256, all right! There we go. You had it in your back pocket, didn't you? Very good. I'm so glad. You. Yes. All right.
All right, down to our last gift for the evening.
Once again, a mug.
Made with love.
Made with deep love. Yeah. Guys, this is in our garage, and sometimes our garage gets to looking pretty messy. But I always think like, man, she's making some really cool stuff in here. So I just we roll with it. But all right, the tumbler going to number.
All right, who loves math?
He said who loves math. He said who loves. That's right. I bet these kids do.
Yeah, I was gonna try to create some equation, but I'm not. So I'll just give y'all the answer, which is 215.
215.
There you go.
215. You've got a cheerleader up there and everything. That's so good. I love this. Guys, thank you so much for coming out tonight. Man, that was great. That is all of our stuff to give away, so we really appreciate you coming and spending time. If you have more questions, we're going to be here. We want to answer them. Please, if you want to follow us, hop on there. We are on all the different socials. If you want to contact us, just like sending a mail or a message or a question, that would be a really cool thing. If you have questions for Jacob or for Mark that we can answer, even on a podcast, that is the way to do it. As well as if you wanted to purchase some merch or just walk with us by donating and partnering with us as we're kind of working through this. We thank you so much for coming out, and we just want to bless you guys for your time tonight. So
also,
oh yes,
yeah. Also, like I said, the new episode came out.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So watch the next episode, like and share, please. You know,
I always forget that part.
Also, you know, the more that we increase subscribers and viewers, that opens up a lot of other doors as well. So that's another way that you can help move the podcast forward by, you know, watching, liking, subscribing. So, yeah.
Very good. Thank you guys so much for coming out. Appreciate it. Have a good night.